Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to English Compass, your cozy place to learn easy English through real-life conversations and improve your life at the same time. I'm so glad you're here today. Let's start with a quick question. Imagine this: you just got paid. Salary hits your account, phone in hand, bank app open. What do you do in the first 5 minutes? Do you transfer money to savings immediately, open a shopping app, check travel deals like you're suddenly a mysterious rich person, or pretend to be responsible and then order expensive food anyway? If that last one felt a little too specific, you're not alone. And that honesty is exactly why today's topic matters. We're talking about a question almost everyone struggles with: should you save money or enjoy life now? It sounds like a simple money question, but really it's a life question. It's about security and freedom, responsibility and pleasure, future goals and present happiness, and yes, guilt. So much guilt. The guilt after spending. The guilt after not spending. Sometimes it feels like you can't win. You buy something and think, that was irresponsible. You don't buy it and wonder, am I even enjoying my life? If you know that feeling, welcome. You're definitely not alone. Now, full transparency. This topic lives in our bank accounts, our habits, and our late-night decisions. And today I want to help you talk about priorities, spending habits, financial pressure, and life choices in natural, confident English. This is a B2 level episode. That means the conversation stays clear and easy to follow, but will also introduce stronger vocabulary naturally as we go. Don't worry if you don't catch every word the first time. Stay with the flow. Listen for the big ideas, and if you're a strong B1 listener, you can absolutely stay with us too. Some parts may challenge you, and that's a good thing. Listen again later and you'll catch more. Before we dive deeper, one small request. If you enjoy learning and thinking with English Compass, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with one friend who's either a saver, a spender, or a very creative "I deserve this" expert. Every like, comment, and share helps more learners find us and tells YouTube this kind of real English conversation is valuable. And I truly love reading your comments. So here's my question for you today. In the comments below, write 2 things. Number 1, are you more of a saver, a spender, or a balanced person? And number 2, what is one thing you never regret spending money on? For example, balanced person: I never regret spending money on books. Or saver: I only splurge on travel. Or even spender: working on it. Yes, spender working on it is going to be very popular. And that honesty, that's exactly why this episode is going to be meaningful. So let's begin with the real trigger: payday. The money arrives, and suddenly one part of you wants to save while the other wants to celebrate. Why do we split like that? Because money is never just money. It's reward, plans, emotion, all arriving at the same time. And when all that arrives together, your brain does what brains do: it starts negotiating. One side is the accountant, the other side is the party planner, and somehow, both sound completely reasonable. The accountant says, think about your future. The party planner says, relax, you worked hard, you deserve joy. And let's be honest, the party planner always has better marketing. Better timing too, especially on payday. For about 10 minutes after salary day, people become, let's say, optimistic. New budget, new habits, new life, new version of me. This month I'm disciplined, healthy, and financially wise. And then, by Friday, you've ordered sushi twice and bought a lamp. Wait, why is the lamp hall waste in these stories? Because random home items appear when emotions are driving. And that's usually when an impulse purchase happens. Let me explain that phrase. An impulse purchase is when you buy something suddenly without planning it, just because the feeling is strong in that moment. And payday feelings? Very persuasive. Okay, so if we all know this feeling, why do smart people still do it? Why is this so hard even when you know better? Such a good question. And honestly, because being smart doesn't stop you from being tired. Yes, that line alone explains half of adult life. A lot of money choices don't happen when we're calm and fresh. They happen when we're stressed, busy, or emotionally done. Sometimes you're not buying a thing, you're buying relief. I had a horrible day. Let me feel better for 10 minutes. And then, future you wakes up and says, why did we do that? Present you and future you, always in a slightly toxic relationship, and this is where delayed gratification becomes difficult. Let me break that down. Delayed gratification basically means waiting for a better reward later, instead of taking a smaller reward now. Like not buying the shoes this week because you're saving for a trip next month. And Present You says, future me is asking for too much. Present You always has a speech ready. And people do something else too. They buy first, then try to justify an expense after. To justify an expense means you create a smart-sounding reason after you already decided emotionally, like, I didn't buy this expensive coffee machine for fun. I bought it for productivity. Or, this jacket isn't fashion, it's networking. Or my personal favorite, this dessert isn't dessert, it's emotional recovery. Yes, that one has been used many times. So yes, emotions make this hard, but now let's be fair to the saving side too. 'Cause saving isn't always fear. Sometimes, saving is wisdom. Saving can look boring from the outside, but it can feel like oxygen when life gets messy. And I learned that the hard way. A few years ago I had one of those months where life sent me problems in a bundle. A payment arrived late, I had a repair bill, and then a family expense came up. Ah yes, the premium stress package. And in that moment I finally understood why people talk about a financial cushion. A financial cushion is money you keep aside for unexpected situations, so you have breathing room, instead of panic. And that cushion isn't just about money. It protects your brain. You think better when you're not in survival mode. Many people grow up hearing, save for a rainy day. That phrase means, save money for difficult times in the future, because problems don't send calendar invites. And another useful idea here, live within your means. It sounds strict, but it's actually healthy. In normal human language it means, your lifestyle matches what you can actually afford, not what social media says you should afford. Because social media is like, here's my morning routine, while it costs more than your rent. And then normal people feel behind, for no reason. So for me, saving isn't about being boring, it's about peace. It's about not feeling scared every time something unexpected happens. Saving can be peace of mind, not punishment. But okay, let me challenge the saving side a little now, because some people save and save and save, and forget to actually live. This is the part many people are scared to talk about. Because if we only save and never enjoy, life starts to feel like waiting. Waiting for later, waiting for one day. And later can keep moving. That's why we need to talk about balance. Enjoying life now doesn't mean we're irresponsible. Sometimes it means choosing rest, connection, experiences that make your life feel meaningful. And this is where the conversation gets more mature. Not all spending is equal. Some spending is just noise, but some spending really adds value. That's where discretionary spending comes in. Discretionary spending means money you spend on non-essential things like hobbies, eating out, entertainment, or travel. So not rent, not bills, not groceries, more like the choices you make after the basics are covered. This is the money that feels more free. It's like your personal fun zone. And I think it's okay to splurge on something occasionally, if it really matters to you. To splurge on something means spending more than usual on something you truly want, like a special trip, a good meal, or a meaningful gift. I don't splurge often, but when I do, I prefer experiences. I still remember one short trip I almost canceled because I wanted to be sensible. I went anyway, and months later I was still talking about it. And that's the part people forget. Some purchases disappear fast, but some become memories. Many people don't get into trouble because they choose one side. They get into trouble because they jump between two extremes. What do I mean? Weeks or months where people say, from now on I will not spend anything extra. They go super strict. They stop going out, stop ordering food, stop buying small treats. Everything is no. Then, after some time, they feel tired and upset, and suddenly they say, you know what, I deserve something. And they spend a lot in one weekend. Yes, I think many of you listening know this feeling. This is a classic swing from one extreme to the other. First, too much control. Then, too much reaction. So it's not just a money problem, it's a pattern problem. And that's why we need a simple way to make better choices without going crazy and without feeling guilty every time. So let's build a small, easy framework for balance. Before a bigger purchase, step 1 is very simple. Pause. Yes, even a 5-second pause can change a decision. And in that pause, ask yourself, what does this choice support in my life? What is the real reason I want this? That question alone can show you a lot. Then, you can weigh the pros and cons. To weigh the pros and cons means to think about the good side and the bad side before you decide. Good side, this will make my daily life easier. Bad side, this will make this month more stressful. When you see both sides, you can choose more calmly. And here's another idea. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means what you lose when you choose one thing instead of another. For example, if you spend a lot of money on random online shopping this month, the opportunity cost might be that you can't go on a trip later, or you can't join a course you wanted. So the question becomes, what am I saying no to? If I say yes to this, it's not about feeling shame, it's about understanding the trade. So, don't let your mood make all the decisions. Give your brain a little time to think. Even a short pause now can save you from a long month of stress later. Okay, let's test that in real life. Not in theory, but in the places where this debate really lives: coffee, phones, clothes, travel, and all those tiny expenses that become big when they join together. Rapid fire round: daily coffee from a cafe, worth it or waste? My answer: it depends. I know that's annoying, but it truly does. If it's your only joy, and it fits your budget, fine. If it's 5 coffees a day plus random snacks plus delivery, now we need a meeting. Because one coffee isn't the issue. Patterns are the issue, and patterns are where discretionary spending can quietly grow without us noticing. Next, buying a better phone when your current phone still works. I'd ask, is it a tool upgrade or a mood upgrade? If your phone affects your work, safety, or productivity, but I think it can be worth a splurge if it's meaningful and planned, and I agree, if it doesn't destroy your next 3 months financially. Memories should not become monthly suffering, and I also think spending on learning can be underrated. A course, coaching, something that improves your skills, that can really change your future. That's a great example of values-based spending. It may look expensive now, but the opportunity cost of not learning could be bigger later. So yes, practical tools help, but there's one more important layer here, and it changes the whole debate. Not everybody is choosing between save for travel and buy the shoes. For some people, the conversation isn't about lifestyle optimization, it's about survival. When someone is trying to make ends meet, this debate feels completely different. To make ends meet means having just enough money to cover basic living costs, with very little extra. In that situation, enjoy life now may look like one small treat after a very hard week. And save money may mean putting aside a tiny amount and feeling proud of it. And that matters. A small saving is still progress, a small joy is still human. So this conversation should never become judgment, it should become awareness. Awareness of your reality, your values, your patterns, your priorities. Because the goal isn't to copy someone else's money style, the goal is to build a life where your money choices support both stability and joy. So maybe the answer to save money or enjoy life now isn't one side winning. Maybe it's learning how to protect your future without abandoning your present. That is the kind of balance I can respect. And now that we've unpacked the ideas, the emotions, and the real-life choices behind this debate, let's slow down and go into our word tour. This is where you'll learn key phrases you can use in your own English conversations about money, priorities, and everyday choices. Grab your tea, coffee, or your very carefully budgeted snack. We'll go slowly. Repeat. And think about your own life. First phrase, impulse purchase. An impulse purchase is when you buy something suddenly without planning, just because the feeling is strong in that moment. Example, I went to the mall to walk, and my new shoes were an impulse purchase. Or, I'm trying to control my impulse purchases, especially late at night. Pause for repetition. Impulse purchase. Next, delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means saying no to a small pleasure now, so you can get a bigger or better result later. Example, saving money for a trip is a kind of delayed gratification, or strong habits often need delayed gratification, not quick rewards. Pause for repetition. Delayed gratification. Next, justify an expense. To justify an expense means to give a reason why your spending was a good idea, often after you already spent the money. Example, he tried to justify the expense by saying the new phone was for work. Or, I don't need to justify every expense, but I want to be honest with myself. Pause for repetition. Justify an expense. Next, financial cushion. A financial cushion is extra money you keep aside, like a safety pillow, for emergencies or surprises. Example, having a financial cushion helped her stay calm when her car broke down. Or, even a small financial cushion can make your life feel less stressful. Pause for repetition. Financial cushion. Next, discretionary spending. Discretionary spending is money you spend on non-essential things, like hobbies, eating out, entertainment, or travel. Example, most of my discretionary spending goes to movies and coffee. Or, when money is tight, discretionary spending is the first place I check. Pause for repetition. Discretionary spending. Next, live within your means. To live within your means means your lifestyle matches your real income. You're not spending more than you earn. Example, she started to live within her means, and finally felt less stress. Or, living within your means doesn't mean no fun, it means smart choices. Pause for repetition. Live within your means. Next, splurge on. To splurge on something means to spend more than usual on a special thing you really want. Example, we decided to splurge on a nice dinner for our anniversary. Or, I don't splurge on clothes, but I like to splurge on travel. Pause for repetition. Splurge on. Next, weigh the pros and cons. To weigh the pros and cons means to think about the good side and the bad side before you decide. Example, before changing jobs, she weighed the pros and cons carefully. Or, we should weigh the pros and cons before buying something expensive. Pause for repetition. Weigh the pros and cons. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is you lose or miss when you choose one thing instead of another. Example, if you spend all your money on small treats, the opportunity cost might be a future trip. Or, the opportunity cost of saying yes to everything is often your time and energy. Pause for repetition. Opportunity cost. And our last phrase, make ends meet. To make ends meet means to have just enough money to pay for your basic needs, with very little extra. Example, when I first started working, it was hard to make ends meet. Or, some families can make ends meet, but they cannot save much. Pause for repetition. Make ends meet. And that was our word tour for today. You can always come back to this part and listen again until these phrases feel natural for you. And next time you think about saving or enjoying, try using some of this vocabulary in your own English. If this episode helped you, feel free to share it with a friend who also navigates money decisions. Take care of your money and your mind. And I'll see you in the next episode of English Compass. Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.